Welcome to Faith and Freedom. For the next few minutes, we hope to inform, inspire, and encourage you as we discuss legal victories and challenges to your fundamental freedom and religious liberties. Faith and Freedom comes to you from Liberty Counsel, a civil liberties education and legal defense organization. Join us now as Mat Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel, explains the latest legal issues all across this country. In the courtrooms of America, Liberty Counsel is winning the battle for your constitutional freedom.
A bakery in Oregon closes its doors after it receives threats for violating a human rights ordinance because they would not participate in making cakes or pastries for a same-sex ceremony. I am Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel. Joining me is Matt Barber, vice president of Liberty Counsel Action. Matt, this is a sad situation. You know, we said before that this is coming, and I no longer say that it's coming, it's here. We said before that the homosexual agenda is intolerant, and it's a zero-sum game, and that's their words, not our words. That's where it originated, and that means that there is a winner and there is a loser, and there is no coexistence. They talk about tolerance, but it is not about tolerance whatsoever. It is about absolute dominance against an opposing worldview, and that's what we see happening here in Oregon.
Yeah, this has never been about preventing discrimination, so-called these sexual orientation ordinances, non-discrimination ordinances, as they call them. Actually, they do exactly what they purport to prevent. They discriminate. This is about compelling, under force of law and penalty of law, Christian business owners and Muslim business owners, Jewish business owners, to compelling them to affirm homosexuality. Period. But by virtue of that, they have to leave, according to these laws, leave their Judeo-Christian beliefs and views of human sexuality at home or within the church walls if they intend to engage in commerce. It's absolutely absurd. It's Orwellian.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of areas, obviously, that people of faith can disagree upon. You can disagree over immigration. You can disagree over whether we ought to attack Syria. You can disagree over whether the taxes are high or low, or whether they should be progressive or not progressive. There's a lot of different kinds of debates that we can have, and people of good conscience can have good arguments on either side. Some arguments are better than others. However, there's a few things that are fundamental, and it really is part of a Christian or Judeo-Christian foundational belief, and it is not compromisable in that respect. It is not debatable, and that is one with regards to marriage as the union of one man and one woman. And it predates religion. It was not created by the nation of Israel or Judaism. Christianity wasn't the inventor of marriage as the union of one man and one woman. It doesn't have anything to do with any religion in the sense that it predates all religions. Yeah. And no government has actually invented this. No government can redefine it either, any more than they can redefine or that they had nothing to do with inventing the laws of gravity. It is part of the natural created order of God's order. It is part of the ontological reality that we see that's objective, and that is part of the natural created order as much as the laws of gravity are part of the natural created order. Those are not debatable issues. And so when someone like this is forced as a Christian to participate in something that is absolutely immoral, wrong biblically, wrong according to the natural law and the created order, they have a right to be able to say, that just is a bridge too far. We will not participate in it. And yet in Oregon, they say, no, you've got to participate in it. And if you don't, here's the options. You change your religious beliefs so that you violate your religious beliefs so you can continue to do your business. Or you keep your religious beliefs and you stop doing business. And that's what, unfortunately, these particular individuals decided to do. They're going to stand by their religious beliefs, but they're now shutting down the bakery.
Well, and not surprisingly, Aaron and Melissa Klein, who are the bakery owners of Sweet Cakes by Melissa in Grisham, Oregon, have had to close their doors, not necessarily because of the threat by this Ministry of Human Rights, this tribunal, Brad Avakian, a progressive bully who is the head of the Department of Labor there, but they are closing their doors because they have been around the clock picketed. They've received numerous death threats from the tolerance crowd, and they said they're just not going to do it anymore. So they've shut their doors, and Mr. Klein has said, "Look, I am not going to use my talents and abilities to help somebody commit their life to sin, a lifetime of sin. And that's what same-sex marriage is. It's undergirded by sin, and it's a commitment to a lifetime of sin. It's non-negotiable, as you point out, Matt. And they said, we're not going to negotiate. We would sooner shut our doors than negotiate.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point that you started off with. They have the threat of the action against them by the state for this human rights ordinance. But that's not why they shut down their business. They shut it down because they say that they have lost 50% of revenue. And why did they lose 50% of revenue? Because the people have been militant against them. They've been picketing them. They've had mafia-style tactics. They've been mean-spirited. They have been very aggressive. These people that say that they want tolerance and they just want to be treated equally have been militant against, and mafia-style tactics have been used against this bakery. And so they have threats against their own life and their existence. And consequently, people don't want to go to a bakery where there's a cacophony of violence outside, and people are going to write down their numbers and so forth and try to stalk them as well. And that's what the homosexual agenda has been doing to them. They have been threatening these individuals simply because they will not affirm a same-sex marriage, and they simply can't do it. That's a line they simply can't cross. Now, I believe that these individuals ought to stay open. I believe they ought to defy the militant bullies, and they ought to do whatever they can. But they should not succumb to this. But unfortunately, they have, and it's very similar to what happened in New Mexico with the Christian photographer, Elaine Photography. I don't know what she's going to be doing now after the Supreme Court in that case said you've got to photograph same-sex weddings, otherwise you can't be a photographer anymore.
Well, we need to be clear here. We're not advocating willy-nilly just people running around discriminating against people because they define themselves as gay or lesbian. What we're talking about here, if this homosexual, this lesbian couple had come in and said, "Hey, can you bake a cake for so-and-so, it's her birthday coming up," they would be more than happy to do so. They
wouldn't even ask the question.
Yeah, the subject is not.
And like the photographer in New Mexico, they wouldn't say, "Oh, I can't photograph you for the prom because you're lesbian or gay."
Yeah.
That's not the issue. What the issue is participating in an event. It's like someone who says, "I will photograph someone who's white, who's Caucasian, but I won't photograph you if you want me to come and take pictures of your KKK rally." That's just no way. I'm not going to do that. I'll photograph you if you're African American, but I'm not going to photograph a violent Black Panther protest or bully club event. Those are events. Those are not people. There may be people that engage in that, but that's not a discrimination against people because of who they are. It's a line that you simply won't cross because you don't want to participate in an event and endorse that event.
You've hit the nail on the head. That is what is analogous to this situation. If a black man came into the bakery and said, "I would like a cake for my son's birthday," and they said, "No, we're not going to give you that cake because you're black," that is unlawful discrimination. If he came in and said, "I want a cake that says the new Black Panthers for our Black Panther rally where the theme is Kill Whitey," and they said, "Well, no, we're not going to do that because we don't want to use our talents to endorse that message," then that is not unlawful discrimination. They're not discriminating based on that person's skin color. Well, sexual orientation shouldn't even be compared to skin color. But again, these lesbian women were not refused service because of their so-called orientation. They were refused service because as a Christian, he could not endorse, whether directly or indirectly, a counter-Christian, unbiblical event.
And when has any baker been forced to say, "I'm going to bake for every event"? When has any photographer been forced, as a criteria of their participating in that business, to photograph every event? Don't they have the discretion to say, "I'll do these events and I'll not do these events"? They ought to be able to do that. And but here, unfortunately, they've been targeted. This is a zero-sum game. This is why it's so important to get aware of what's taking place and to draw a line in the sand. Otherwise, this is the most serious threat. It's not in the future. It's here, to our religious liberty and to our moral values. Go to Liberty Counsel's website, lc.org. You can also go to libertycounsel.com. That's our other website, one of many libertycounsel.com. And there you can sign a number of petitions that we have on a wide variety of subjects. That pulls together a lot of our resources from our various ministries, libertycounsel.com or lc.org. When you go to lc.org, you can order Dr. Judith Reisman's book, Stolen Honor, Stolen Innocence. It's a book that lays the foundation for all of this issue that we're talking about. You need to know where this came from and how you can get involved to do something about it.
You have been listening to Faith and Freedom with Liberty Counsel. We hope that we have motivated you to stand up for your faith, family, and freedom. We can accomplish a lot when we work together. Get informed and get involved today. Sign up for our free monthly newsletter, The Liberator. We will send it out to you free of charge. Stay informed with our Liberty Alert email updates. Just click on the website at www.lc.org or call us at 1-800-671-1776. Tune in next time to learn more about your rights right here on Faith and Freedom.